am LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk. I want to do commentary in regards to an article that I found and read, and it's in regards to the newest sitting justice on our Supreme Court, that being Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who took the place of the late Ruth Bader, who we lost last year. And it says, and this article is from The Hill. The Susanna Sherry opinion contributor is the person who wrote it, and this was last Wednesday, December the 1st. It says, when should a Supreme Court justice deeply held religious belief require recusal? That is, that the justice not participate in a particular case. A difficult question, to be sure, but one that Justice Amy Coney Barrett has already answered for herself. And her answer requires her recusal in abortion cases. The Supreme Court hears argument in Dobbs versus Jackson's Women's Health Organization Wednesday again, which was last Wednesday, December the 1st, which challenged the constitutional of Mississippi's ban on abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy. It says, to follow her own words in a 1998 law review, Barrett should have recused herself from deciding this case in any and all other abortion case if she has integrity at all. Let's pause. We know that Amy Coney Barrett does not have integrity. She showed us this again when the late Justice Ruth Bader passed away. We know she had been suffering illness for a long time, and her health was failing, was declining. And she had asked that whoever, with us being in a election year, she had asked her request, and Mitch McConnell did not care enough because he had his own self agenda, the Republican Party, GOP agenda of trying to pat the courts with as many conservatives as possible. That, excuse me, he did not respect the request of the late now Ruth in regards to let whoever the newly elected president decide who would be her replacement. It was no, Miss Ruth had not, probably wasn't even dead within a few hours, and Mitch McConnell came out with a statement and then said that Trump will choose a new justice to replace her. And it had been said again, whenever there's election year, because they wouldn't even let President President Obama choose a justice when one had passed away, because they said something about an election year. But it just shows us who the Republican Party. Trump asked Amy Coney Barrett to be the new justice. She accepts with a yes, and like I said, just total disrespect. Even her own alma mater of Notre Dame, where she went to law school, had wrote a letter saying, not saying that she wasn't qualified in their opinion, but in my opinion, she wasn't qualified. I think I heard of where Sonny Hawson or someone had stated she never had tried a case and things of nature. Trump had appointed her to be a judge, but originally she was a teacher, a professor at her alma mater again, Notre Dame. But she showed us she had no integrity when she accepted the yes from Trump to replace Ruth Bader, when, as many have stated, she definitely was not qualified to replace someone such as Ruth Bader. And she shows she has no integrity. So this says, if she has integrity at all, Amy Coney Barrett, integrity? So it says, in a Catholic judge capital cases, Barrett, then a law clerk to a federal court appeals judge, and her co-author addressed the dilemma that faces devout Catholic judges in capital cases. She writes that such judges are obliged by oath, professional commitment, and the demands of citizenship to enforce the death penalty, but they are also obliged to adhere to their church teachings on moral matters. They are therefore morally precluded from enforcing the death penalty. What's a Catholic judge to do then? According to Barrett's article, the judge must recuse herself. She can either enforce the death penalty and violate her religious conscience, nor fail to enforce it and violate her oath of office. Reading some more, it says, what does this all have to do with abortion? Barrett tells us in the same article that in the context of abortion, the case of a Catholic judge recusal is even stronger, which means, because what this article is saying, that when it comes to death penalty cases or abortion cases, because of, again, of Catholics' beliefs, their religious belief, and the oath that they take, in any type of these cases, the judge needs to recuse him or herself. And in this case, it would be herself, because we're talking about Amy Coney Barrett. It says, recusal is even stronger. Unlike the death penalty, the Catholic Church prohibits abortions are absolute, and also, unlike death penalty, abortion take away innocent life. Abortions, she says, is always immoral. On Barrett's own reasoning, then her only option is to recuse herself. If she does not do so, she is, in her own words, violating her oath of office and betraying the public trust. And again, going back to the open arguments in the abortion case that they are hearing for the state of Mississippi, again, the state where I live, she should recuse herself. But again, as I stated, this woman does not have integrity. And it's very sad that she's sitting on the bench. Justice Sonia Samara, I can't pronounce her last name, but Justice Sonia had made a statement that made me stop and think about. It says, can we survive this stench? Can we survive? Because again, Trump put 3 conservatives on the bench, because again, the Republican Party trying to pack the benches with their own choices of people, and it's become political, and we know they don't do the right things many times. And I'm trying to find this statement that Justice Sonia, let me see if I can find the statement she made. Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, the Supreme Court won't survive the stench of overturning Roe versus Wade. Justice Sonia used her question during Supreme Court hearing Wednesday on abortion rights to urge her conservative colleagues to follow precedents and not politics in deciding the case. She noted that the sponsors of the 2018 Mississippi abortion law, which would ban most abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy, had said they were pushing ahead with the legislation and court challenge because we have new justices on the Supreme Court. So the reason basically why my state, Mississippi, is trying to get this abortion case heard, because again, 3 conservatives who was put on the Supreme Court by Trump trying to get their way. Then President Donald Trump successfully nominated 3 Supreme Justices during his 4-year term, giving the conservative a 6-3 majority. Will this institution survive the stench that creates in the public's perception that the Constitution and its reading are just political acts? I don't see how it is possible, she said, while questioning Mississippi Solicitor General Scott Stewart. That speaks volume. When I saw that and when I read that, it lets me know she gets it. I get it, and I think so many others do too. But again, Amy Coney Barrett does not have integrity, because if she did, she would have not accepted, at least not at that time. She would have said, well, I would like to see who the new president will be, the new administration, and let that person excuse me, follow the request of the late justice, that whomever the person, the new justice would be, honoring the request to let that the late Justice Ruth Bader had asked to let the new elected upcoming president choose her person to come to be her replacement. But no, Amy Coney Barrett does not have integrity. And then again, they said this was back in 1998. It said to follow her own words in a 1998 law review. At this time, she was then a law clerk for a federal court appeals judge. So my thing, do these people, do Amy Coney Barrett, do they forget? This is the article. Do they forget the things they may have said years ago, months ago? This stuff, it remains into. So no, she doesn't have integrity, and yes, she should recuse herself, and she should be made to recuse herself if she doesn't do it on her own, willfully doing the right lawful thing to do. But again, we have a lot of corruption that goes on in this country, and right isn't always done. They do what they want, because again, Mitch McConnell, no sooner than Justice Ruth was announced, had passed away, they say he made a phone call to Trump and told Trump to select Amy Coney Barrett. But yet this woman has said since 1998 anyone should recuse themselves, but yet she sat on that bench and listened to this case that's now about coming from Mississippi in regards to trying to overturn Mississippi's abortion ban. This is what we're dealing with. And no, I don't think the courts would be able to survive, because you would have betrayed the public trust and showed us all the more you were not fit to have the job that was given to you. I'm LaMarsha Lewis. Let's talk.